Good evening, beautiful people, and welcome to Unscripted with Melissa Santillan. I want to welcome, I have a co-host with me this evening. Most of you know him, Vic Rivera. He is definitely a Southside powerhouse, involved in everything, arts, music, dancing. Thank you, Vic, for being on and being a co-host with me today.
Of course, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Thank you. And then our guest that we have is Monica Terrones.
Yes.
And she actually is employed at the Ethnic Heritage Museum Gallery. And you are actually the Hispanic director of the gallery currently, right?
Yes. I took over after Vic stepped down. It's actually just all volunteer work at the Ethnic Heritage Museum. None of it's paid. Even the president. Jocelyn. Shout out to Jocelyn.
Shout out Jocelyn. I just got to meet her about a week ago.
Yes. Yes,
so
she's awesome.
That was actually my first time going into the Ethnic Heritage Museum. And it's been there for such a long time. I moved away from the South Side quite a while ago, but to go back and see all of that history and remembering just all the different cultures that were part of the beginning of Rockford.
Yes.
And what were you doing before you actually were volunteering at the museum?
Well, Vic was doing an event and I just happened to go, and he was picking up some chairs and stuff. Like, do you need help? But I knew I had met Vic at the art scene before that. Yeah. And then he's like, sure. And then I go, do you need volunteers? So we just started talking, and he goes, yes, I do. I don't have anybody to help me. So, yeah, that's how we, started to work. And then I just started volunteering at the museum 2 years ago.
So are they always looking for volunteers at the museum?
Yes, they're always looking for volunteers because we're always short. A lot of our directors are retired or, in their 70s and 80s, and then they need help. They need help with the exhibits or any event that they might have, especially when we have events. We need greeters, we need docents at both museums, and people to help with the gardens and out in the Heritage Park.
The park is absolutely beautiful. I know I got to take a tour out there. Yeah. And that's the main reason why we're kind of meeting today is to talk about the South Main Mercado that's going to be happening.
Yes.
So tell us the date and the time of that event.
The date of it is Saturday, June 17th, and it runs from 12 to 4.
5.
5.
5, yes.
Yeah.
We'll be there all afternoon.
Okay, we sure will. And there's quite a few vendors joining, including myself. I will be selling my Chingona Bonita shirts there. This is my first time actually vending here in Rockford. So I'm super excited to be vending on my side of town that I grew up on.
Yes.
So my family actually had a business right across the street, Guadalajara de Noche, that we actually occupied that space for 35 years.
Oh, 35 years.
Vic, your family actually was very involved with that space also because
my dad's a musician, my brothers. So I spent a lot of time at the Guadalajara de Noche. I was probably in there as a minor. I wasn't drinking, though, honest to God truth. My dad would let me in, and I'd hang out on the stage because I just wanted to hang out and listen to music. But one of my favorite, most missed establishments of Rockford, I think it embraced so much culture. I often tell people who go see live music that Guadalajara de Noche was like the Mexican Mary's place where you'd go in for like $5. It was always $5.
Yeah.
Drinks were affordable, especially to the blue-collar type of peoples that live there. Mm-hmm. And you would always have a good time. Very rarely was there issues and, nothing major, crazy. You'd get like a few drunk guys kind of. But it would be squashed. I never had a bad experience there. People were always dancing. There was always people getting asked out to dance. It was just such a great time. And, I truly miss going there on, it'd be a Saturday night and I wouldn't have nothing to do. Man, let's go to Guads.
Yep. The G Club. Definitely, I miss it because I grew up and I learned my work ethic there. I started working there when I was 14 years old. We had a restaurant also. Mm-hmm. So my mom managed the restaurant and we were all put to work really early. And then as soon as I was old enough to work behind the bar, I was behind the bar bartending also. Grandma wouldn't let me waitress. She wanted to keep her eye on me. Yeah. So that's where I stood. But
we used to go there once in a while and have lunch, me and my family. So.
Yeah. And did you ever go to dance?
Yes, I did. I was in my probably late 20s or something like that. Yep. Mm-hmm. Used to go to some of the dances.
And it was every Friday and Saturday night.
It was packed. Always packed.
Always packed. And then how do you, the neighbor, it was like the neighborhood bar. It was a nightclub though, but we had all of the regulars, like, and they were family to us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I looked at them like they were tias and tios. You know what I mean? And you showed them respect. You gave everybody a hug and a kiss and served them their food, served them their drink. And
my tia Lita and tia Margaret used to go there a lot.
I love them so much. I remember them.
Yeah, they both passed away, but they're still close in our hearts. So, yes, they used to love going to Guadalajara.
We considered them family, too. They were there with us every weekend. I enjoyed seeing both of them ladies.
Yeah, they love Minnie. They absolutely loved her. So.
Yeah, Minnie Mouse. I love Grandma. Shout out to you for bringing entertainment to Rockford, because there was never a place like that again after, and I'm not sure if there ever will be. I hope there will be, but definitely you brought culture to Rockford, and I appreciate all of that. And speaking of culture, there's going to be a lot of cultural acts at the South Main Mercado.
Yes. We had a meeting this morning, and we're almost up to 20 vendors already.
Wow, that's great.
20 vendors.
Yep, 20 vendors, 2 food trucks, and then 2 live acts, or 2 music acts, and then the dance troupe.
Yes.
Who are the music acts?
So we got Tito Ceballos, who does... he actually has different acts that he does, but this is going to be his solo performance where he brings all his percussions and he performs to it's like pre-recorded music, but he does it live and he sings, and he does like a lot of salsa and like merengue type of stuff. And then we're going to have El Ballet Folclórico Cultural Mosaic. My bad if I'm saying that the wrong way, but the Rockford Ballet Folclórico, who they practice at St. Peter and St. Paul, they're going to be doing a few songs. We're also going to be having a special singer.
Yes, we're having Lizette. Lizette. How do you say her last name?
I'm not sure who her last name is.
Yeah, Lizette.
She's a younger teenage girl, and she's just starting off, and she's going to be singing a few songs.
Yes.
And then closing the night, we got Estilo 815, who are doing kind of like the more modern day corridos, 2 guitars.
I've seen them perform before.
They're fantastic, and I think a lot of people who are going to be coming not only to that neighborhood and that park for the first time, they're going to be listening to a whole different genre of music for the first time. So there's going to be a lot of firsts happening June 17th.
So
the 2 food trucks, is there room for more food vendors?
Yes.
There are?
Yeah.
How many more would you say that you're looking for?
One or two more.
At least 2 for sure.
2 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting there. We're going to try to accommodate as best we can.
Yeah.
But when we started, we were thought we were going to have to beg people, but now we might have to turn people down.
Yes.
But that's
a good problem to have.
No, it's an awesome problem to have. But also, someone who's helping us out, Kat Valdez, she's already looking forward into next year and how that might look. So, that's just a good problem to have. So if we get 40 people and we can only take 20, the next year you can expect 50.
Yes.
So this is definitely moving forward going to be an annual event.
It's the goal.
It's the goal, yes.
That is amazing to hear, just because growing up on the south side of Rockford, I remember all of the carnivals that used to happen, right? Yeah. Do you guys remember all the carnivals that they used to have?
St. Anthony's.
At St. Anthony's they used to have, and then I know everybody remembers the Fiesta Hispana.
Yes. Fiesta Hispana, there was also at CPM.
Yes.
And then on South Main, before it became like a interstate.
Yep.
Because remember, you used to be able to park on the street.
Yeah.
The Heritage Museum, so the front door was actually on South Main.
Yes.
And they used to close the street down between Loomis and Morgan, and they would have that blocked off, and they would have live music. I have some footage of that, but they would have
a black party.
Yeah, basically, simple as that. But we can't close the street no more because they expanded it. That's why you can't park on the lanes anymore. And it was a big deal, like whatever 20 years ago. People didn't want that expansion because it kind of contributed to the businesses kind of going downhill because you couldn't park on the streets no more.
Yes.
Even Guadalajara used to be able to park in front.
You used to be able to park in front
yep.
and across the street, and now that's no longer a thing.
So now, with all the changes that's been happening at the Ethnic Museum in the last 2-3 years, it's kind of we're like sitting on this plot with nothing nothing happening. So it was a collective idea to bring. They've already had a few events. Last year they had music in the gazebo, which was recently built. So now it's like, how can we take this further? Let's do something where we can have music and have vendors and have food trucks. And we all just kind of been brainstorming for the last few months. But in the last 2 months, it's really been coming together.
And then I remember last year too, you did something for Dia de los Muertos where you did something in that little...
The gazebo?
The gazebo, right? Where you...
Yes, we had a community ofrenda.
Yep.
Ofrenda, yeah. It was an
yes,
ofrenda where everybody got to put pictures of their loved ones
Yes.
up there.
And did you know that was a pop-up?
No.
Was, yes, created by Vic over here. He gave me 8 days. He gave me and Patricia 8 days. This is what we're going to do.
Talk about lighting the fire, Vic.
Well, I mean, again, it was a collective idea. I know Monica had the idea of doing it indoor. The problem is the hours are kind of limited. So it's like you would only, your window would be so short. So it's like we got this huge gazebo and, let's just see how it would work. And we put it together. We tied everything. We had someone laminating pictures.
It was beautiful.
It was
Thank
up.
you.
I would before work. I would turn the lights off. When I'd come back from work at night, I'd turn the lights off. Or I turn them on and turn them off. But the great thing about that is that when people would come leave their pictures, they would message me and be like, "Hey Vic, I cleaned up a bit. I picked up the photos." Because sometimes it was windy some of those days, and even a little rainy. That's why we had them laminated and we had them pinched. We had them taped. Everything like
that you could think of to try to...
And nothing fell, except for some of the frame pictures would kind of fall off.
Right.
But people would come and pick them up. They'd pick up the leaves and...
But that's tradition.
No, it was beautiful.
So
no one disrespected the property, which was our number one concern. We didn't want people breaking
touched
stuff
anything.
and
No one stole
stealing
anything.
stuff. Yeah.
Because that goes along tradition with our culture. You know what I mean? When you go to visit your loved ones, that's what you do. You clean their grave, you clean their site, you give them an offering. And a lot of people don't understand that's what we were doing. You know what I mean? We're honoring our loved ones.
Yeah. And there was a couple times I was there. We had some music. We had Lizette singing one night. Actually, it was November 1st, I think.
I need to know her last name if you can think of it afterwards.
I can't think of who her mom is. Who's her mom?
Erica. She related to the Musso.
Erica Harris?
Family.
Not Erica. Is Erica?
Colleen or something.
I can't think of the last name. Yeah,
she's a beautiful singer at 14.
I cannot wait to hear.
Yeah. She started out as a volunteer at Ethnic Heritage Museum, and then we were just small chit-chatting, talking, and when we were doing one of the art workshops for the children, and I said, "Man, I wish I had a singer for the ofrenda." She goes, "I sing," and
See,
really, and then she sent me videos.
You shall receive.
Right? And I'm like, "How old are you? 18?" And she goes, "No, I'm only 14." I was just like, "Whoa!"
Really
But she'll be singing for at the Mercado.
At the Mercado, she'll be singing.
Yeah.
But I had an idea now that we were talking about the ofrenda that we do. Are we doing it again this year?
I believe so. Yeah.
I would love for me and my team to go and do some live art, like maybe have some models of some Dia de los Muertos.
I think we can do that.
To do photos with everybody visiting.
It literally was a pop-up. And everyone just kind of came together and we did all like in a day. And actually, it was a really beautiful day. It was I think the second to last week of October, maybe.
Yeah.
Because the following week was actually really ugly. It was rainy and windy. And
you added on the right week.
Yeah, it was.
It was perfect,
but it's just like
weather.
it's hard to do stuff on the day of because it might fall like on a Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah.
So like the Saturday before will probably be maybe the day we do it. But yeah, we'd love to have more. I had a budget and I was trying to find music because people were donating and it's like, damn, like I'm a day. Hey, can you come play tomorrow? So it just happened so quickly. The turnout was amazing. So I think definitely in October we're probably going to plan on doing something again.
I hope so, and I'd like to be involved if you would have me.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I mean, if you
a mariachi would be nice.
Something, and like really Monica mentioned, it's 100% volunteer. Like any money that comes in, it all goes back to the museum. So with the donations we received, we bought the papel picado, we bought markers, we bought decorations, we bought stuff for. We had kids activities. We were just able to buy everything, and nothing came out of pocket. And whatever was left, it's still there. It's in the basement of the museum. So anything, if you want to donate money, if you want to donate time, if you want to donate your services as plain, like we'd be more than happy to have you.
Yeah, I know I would definitely be able to do a model call and get a few models. And my girls that I work with, Daisy Avila is one of my main makeup artists.
She's fantastic.
We would put together something spectacular.
Yeah. Well, all right. We got it. It's set.
We have been dying to do a male and a female.
That'd be awesome.
Like the endless love, that.
Yeah. So, we already have the set time for the build-up of the veranda is from 10 a.m. to 2 on October 28th, 2023.
Hey, we already got a date.
Yeah, we already have a date.
Yeah.
So save the date, everybody. You're going to
Yes.
see something spectacular.
They can come help volunteer. They don't have to bring anything. They could just bring themselves and say,
Time.
I'm here to help.
I think that was one of my favorite parts was we had like our set volunteers, but then people just started helping out.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. That's the community coming together.
Like
Yes.
Rocio's mom, Lucero.
Yes.
She came and she started doing flowers and
Lucero
Leslie
so
and
much.
like
Yeah.
so many people were just helping. They didn't have to. We didn't ask. I mean, we asked our volunteers, but people were just coming in. Like my dad was being the man with a lather and putting stuff, and
Yeah.
people cleaning up after themselves, and everyone was just really happy and really proud with it. And the people who weren't able to make it came in during the week,
Yes.
took photos, put their photos. We had plenty. We had left some supplies for them to do all that.
Yeah, we
And,
had a guest sign book, and we collected about 25, 30 emails and names, and all the comments were positive.
Everything,
This
yeah.
is beautiful. Please do it again. Make it a annual thing. It was so exciting. It made me so emotional. I get emotional easily.
We
but
need things like that
Yes.
in our community because I want my children to understand our culture and know where they come from
Yep.
and see things like this because
Yes.
they're not going to see like the Fiesta spot anymore, the waterfront.
At least how
the-
we know it, yeah.
That we know right now. Hopefully one day we can all collectively come together and make something like that happen
Yeah.
again because I know that's the goal.
Yeah,
that's
it's
definitely the goal.
100%.
Yeah.
And all the photos that were collected, they're all in the basement. So we will put those out there for you.
Yes.
As long as you want us to have those photos, we'll put them up there. So if we do this for 20 years, your photo
will still go up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they'll always be up there. Like if you can't make it this year and you left a photo last year, or if you can't make it in 2 years and you left a photo 3 years ago, we will always put your photos up there as long as you let us keep them. And they're in the basement. They're safe.
Yeah.
They're part
put
of
away.
the
Yeah.
archive storage area. Yep, they're part of the archives now. But if somebody does want their photo back, they just leave a note.
Just
let us
come
know.
in and
yeah,
they can
and there
collect
was
it.
some people that did come pick up some
Pick 'em.
photos. Yeah.
So if this goes on for 50 years and your people ain't here no more, or like we're gonna continue to put those
Those photos
and
on.
whoever takes after over, they're gonna know to continue to put the photos. So in 30 years, there'll be 1,000 photos.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
And what other things can we expect from the South Main Mercado? I know we talked about the entertainment. We talked about the food. I know I'm vendoring. What other types of vendors can our audience know to be looking out for? Do you know what different types of vendors are going to be
Well,
there?
there's a few I know of, and probably Vic knows of a few. The few I know of
Yeah.
are blouses, ethnic blouses, like Mexican blouses,
Yes.
The
jewelry,
flowers and all that.
Yeah.
jewelry and flowers and
A lot of candy.
Yep, candy. Yep, so there's a lot of
Dulces.
candy.
The dulces
Yeah,
for
there's
sure.
somebody who's going to be selling children's toys and things like that.
Okay.
So, and do you know of any?
I think Patricia has the list.
Has the
Okay.
list.
But
Yeah.
really, like we're just trying to. It's the first one. It's the first thing that's happened like that in the neighborhood in a long time, and we're just really trying to create that experience because everyone always has a story in the neighborhood. Like I remember, and that's cool. But those memories are 20 years old. It's time to create new ones for
Yes.
your kids
Yes.
to say, "Oh, remember 2 years ago? Like, oh, recently this happened
Yes.
recently."
Yeah.
So just trying to create that camaraderie that used to be so prevalent there. Just trying to bring that back, and being partners with Jocelyn at the Ethnic Heritage Museum, and everyone who's been involved has just been like so on board. There really hasn't been any red lights. Any like minor obstacles have been getting figured out. So it's really been a great collective of people who want to do something together. And again, it's like we're not getting a paycheck from this. We're really having
No,
a lot of good
yes.
fun doing this, and anything that's coming in, it's all going back into the festival. And I say that to say, if you want to donate anything or sponsor, it's all going back into the building, into other festivals too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we need some papel picado. We were just at a meeting this morning, and I need to order some more papel picado, or the president will. So that's what I'm going to use mostly from the trees in
And
the
decorate,
park.
yep.
Yeah. and
Oh,
decorate.
to decorate all the way around
yeah. As
the
best as
park
we can.
area.
Yep.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
best as we can.
Is there anything else that we need for the event that maybe some of our audience can help out with? I know you said volunteers.
Yes, volunteers.
And
so we have
food vendors.
Yes,
Yes.
the volunteer schedule is 10 a.m. to noon is setting up the tables and chairs and helping the vendors get to their locations. That would be we need at least 3 or 4 volunteers for that.
At least 3 or 4? Okay,
and then
good.
12 to 3, and then 3 to 6. And what they'll also do is just go around, make sure everyone's okay. And if you see somebody handicapped or, need some help, to help them in.
Garbage.
And then, and garbage, and take care of garbage and clean off the tables. And also, we're going to the museums are going to be open, and they're going to be open with a discount that day. And so both of them will be open, the Grand Gwinestra House and the Ethnic Heritage Museum. And a lot of people don't know there's 2 museums, but there is.
There are? Because I only seen the one, right?
Yes, you were in one of them. We didn't go over to the
across
Grand
the lot,
Gwinestra House.
the house.
Yes.
The house,
yeah.
yes. I did not see that one. So is it set up a lot like the one that I was in?
That's a house that's like preserved, so it looks exactly how it did 100 years ago.
Wow.
So everything in there is original to the house, to the original owners of the property.
From everything.
Yeah.
So will people be giving tours?
Yes, we will have a few docents giving guided tours. And I think, I'm not sure about the price, but I think she was talking about $5 a person or $10 a family.
Okay.
So, yeah. And it'd be from, noon to 5.
That's awesome. I would like my kids to go on that tour. And I want to see the house that I didn't get to see also.
Yeah. A lot of people think it's closed. I know with COVID, yes.
I thought we
were closed, but we are open Sundays from 2 to 4. Or you can call the museum and you can set up a guided tour during the week.
And that's every single week, 2 to 4, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Every on Sunday, 2 to 4.
Okay. And then you are actually honoring a very well-known family in our community, the Berumen family, which I am so excited when I saw the post go up with a brief story about who they are and what they did for our community. So maybe we can all kind of chat about the Berumen family for a moment and just,
Yes, I personally didn't know them, but the first time I seen their photos at the ofrenda, and I asked,
Lucero and Leslie brought the photo of her parents or grandparents.
And so I asked Vic, I go, who's this couple right here in the middle? And he goes, oh, they used to live here. And I go, who's that? And
in the house.
In the house.
Yeah, very important.
Yep.
Actually, in the Ethnic Heritage Museum, that was their home.
Yeah,
and the front was the original Jalisco. The grocery store was in the front of the house.
Yes. Yep. And it kind of hooked a stairway to the side where the African American gallery is.
Yes.
There was a doorway because I had to interview a few of the Berman family, and they told me where their bedrooms were, where the kitchen was.
It's a small house. It was,
They actually was 2. It was 2 apartments.
And how many children did the Berumen family have?
At that time, I think she said there was four of the girls, and then I think 3 or 4 of the boys. And the boys lived behind the Ethnic Heritage Museum. There's a house that was knocked down, but the girls slept in the Hispanic gallery, and the gallery was cut in half to 2 bedrooms, so 2 in one on a bunk bed and 2 on the other, and their parents slept in the Polish gallery at the back end, and that's where their living room was. It was unbelievable. I was just blown away by the stories. They only lived there a short time, so they don't remember a lot. They only lived there about a year and a half, and then he needed to move the store because he needed more room for the store.
He needed more space, and then that's when he took it to our location that we all know so well, which is on Cunningham. Yeah, so that store became a staple in the community. I remember going there when I was a little girl to grocery shop with my mom, with my grandpa, and just walking in there and buying and they had all of the stuff that you could only get like when I visited Mexico or when I was in Texas. And I just remember they had everything. And I would get so excited to go in there and see like what they all had in their store. Because it was a different store than going to a regular grocery store.
It went through a lot of changes. Because I live on Sanford. So I live around the corner. So I went every day to literally Jalisco. But they had arcade games.
Yes.
They used to rent movies. They had all the Mexican movies, all the sexy comedies and the horror movies. And obviously all the food and stuff, all the produce. It's like you didn't have to go far.
It was a meat market.
Right
they used to cut the meat.
So in the back. They had carnitas on Saturday and tamales and all that. And, I want to mention also that it was one of the probably neighborhood grocery stores that never sold liquor.
Yes.
So it's like, so you never had like randoms. People would go there just for groceries. Little camaraderie. People would talk to each other, but there was no like weird people outside because there was no drinking.
There was no drinking, so it was all family oriented. Like you could go in there with your children and know it was going to be cool, and you weren't near a liquor store.
There wasn't like a wino outside or like a random person outside. You kind of
because on South Main it was a different story.
Yeah.
Well, when she put the post up, I had so many messages from not just the family, but people that said, "We're happy that you're doing this at the Mercado," which happens at 12:30, and that's Lizette will start it out with just singing a song, one of their favorites, so it's a surprise, hopefully. And then Armando Cardenas will say a few words, and then also today at our meeting we were deciding to turn a gazebo into a where they can like a photo drop for the Berman family and decorating that.
That would be amazing to show all their memories and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's also important to mention, and this was 100% Monica's idea, but so she mentioned June was...
Oh, National Immigrant Heritage Month.
Right.
I had no idea.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
I didn't know
Biden
that
just
either.
signed it. I think it was last year or the year before.
So it's a new celebration for us.
Celebration in this country.
So it's only fitting that they would be the first family that we would acknowledge because of the long tenure. And also now, I mean, it's just so many, we all have so many other friends as so many other family as friends. They've all just done so much great things in the community. So it's only proper to acknowledge like the founders, the beginning,
the beginning.
Who started this grocery store, which was a staple for so many years for a lot of us. And like I mentioned earlier, I think everybody has a Jalisco story.
Yes,
we all do.
Everybody.
We all do. And their family was such a massive family. I think all of us were connected to the Berumna family somehow.
Yes.
So I knew them from because we had family businesses around the same time, but I was good friends with Rocio. So I grew up with Rocio growing up. She was around my age. But I just remember there were so many tias, so many tios, cousins. Like, they just had a massive family in the Rockford community.
Yeah. And they're just felt so honored that we're honoring them here at the museum. And I can't wait because I think we're going to get a big crowd. They have another engagement at 3, so a lot of them will leave, but I think we're going to have a big crowd and it'll be there early, which is great. That's great. It's 12:30.
That's the goal for the South Main Mercado is to give recognition to.
Yeah, I hope I hope they bring all their friends and neighbors because I'm going to have
I think you're going to have a huge.
I'm going to have on index cards quotes of some of the messages
Stories
and emails that came in, and I'm going to put them up for them, and then a couple photos of them and a couple newspaper articles.
And it's also, I mean, we're acknowledging this staple in the community, but one of the original ideas was to give up-and-coming businesses a platform because even with like the city market, like they don't accept everybody because they get so many this influx, and there's so many startup people that don't know where just how to start. So we're charging very little. It's just a great platform for starters. I mean, it's a great platform for everybody, but we really want to get those up-and-coming young entrepreneurs who are just trying to. I mean, it's her first event, so
it's my first
really
event.
like that really hits the mark that we're trying to hit.
Yes.
And like you said, like being able to give a platform to all these new vendors, because since COVID, I feel like everyone was in sink or swim mode. Everybody figured out how to become an entrepreneur. I feel like everybody did something on the side after that. And I think we all, like, our eyes were open, like, wow, if this were to ever happen again, because none of us were prepared for that.
Right.
What else can we do to help provide for family? You know what I mean? So like all of us had gears turning, and this was something that I was sitting on for a long time that I always wanted to do. And I saw an opportunity for me to do it because I never had time to sit down and design and figure it out. And then now it was like, well, now I have all the time. For sure.
And I like those shirts.
Well, thank you. I'll have one for you.
Okay.
So you just have to let me know which one would you like, the Chingona or Bonita one, and let me know your size and color, and I'll bring it to you at the event.
Okay. And I was just going to tell you one thing I forgot is that if you do volunteer, you get a free T-shirt. You'll get a free South Main Mercado T-shirt that pretty much Vic designed.
Will they be for sale for people to buy?
We thought about it, but probably not for this first year because
not this year?
We didn't want to just have like order 20, have 10 volunteers and just have like 10 loose ones that may or may not sell. So right now they're just for the volunteers. But if there's an influx, if there's a ask, then maybe we can reproduce them. But right now we're really just trying to tailor to what, like it's getting bigger, but we're still like have this, very intimate event in mind. But the goal obviously is to get bigger and bigger.
I'm excited to see the design, and I'm low key asking, can I get one of them shirts? No, can I? Since I'm helping you promote on my podcast.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that'd be awesome.
I wear a large, just saying.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. I really want to be a part of history, and definitely having a part of history like that. I just remember we used to make shirts at Guadalajara, and right now us trying to figure out who has like the last shirts, I'm like, they're probably all at the Goodwill. We can't find like original shirts anymore. I think my mom has one, but I remember all the bowling teams and dart teams had like these, we used to call them the members only jackets.
Yeah.
And they said Guadalajara in the back. Nobody in my family has one, and I'm very disappointed about that. So family members, if you're hearing this, if you have that jacket, I need it, please and thank you.
Yeah, I remember them. I remember the shirts. Too.
Yes, the shirts, and they used to do all different ones: the V-necks, the polos, the regular tees. So throughout the years, and then I remember my grandma used to also give out for New Year's Eve the calendar books and the big giant calendars.
Oh, I love those.
With the sleeping lady and the Aztecs, right? And all the different pictures of all the Aztec leaders and things like that from our past. So
I was trying to get Pacheco the design one.
Yeah.
But he couldn't find the calendar with because it's one picture with like the 12 tearaways.
So I still have a calendar.
Like a real one?
If you want to see it, it's an original one. I will let you use it so you guys can read it.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to look at it.
So
awesome.
I was going to tell you, I forgot, also have an artist, and she's going to, her name is Rose, right? Rose Salinas? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's going to have her art out on the lawn.
She's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. And she just kind of wants to contribute some, and that's what we're talking about. If you're an artist and you have a big piece of art, that you can put it out on the lawn.
Yeah, we'd love to have more art, and I mean, if you want to come on the lawn, just paint or whatever, that'd be awesome. Or if you want to come vend, that's also an option. But the gallery, the museum itself, like I mentioned to Monica when I first met her, it's really open to anybody. Mm-hmm. If you want to come teach something, again, you'd be volunteering, but sometimes you got to bite that bullet to teach something to the next generation, because it's like, if the whole world forgot Spanish and I'm the only one, am I really going to charge you to learn it? Like, I have to teach you, otherwise this thing that I know is going to die.
You got to pay it forward.
Yeah.
It'll come back. And some people don't always see it that way, but
it will.
Everything there, if anyone ever wants to teach like knitting or sewing, like the space is available.
Yes.
We can always try to figure out some type of like maybe cover costs for equipment or for materials, but it's really a place where you can teach these traditions, and not just on the Mexican Hispanic side. It's also African American, Lithuanian, Polish, Italian,
and Hispanic,
and Irish.
Yes.
Okay.
Which and those other ones, except for the African American, the other four, they kind of are on a slope. Like, no one's taking over for the Italians, no one's taking over for the Lithuanians, the Irish, and whatnot. So it's like, maybe doing these events will bring in those people too, because otherwise their traditions will get lost in Rockford.
Because right now it seems like the Hispanic community is coming together so that we can bring this forward and show this to our children and to our community so that they remember. But we do need help from all of the other ethnicities to like bring your heritage up and teach the next generation and keep all of these cultural things alive for your kids. So
the board would actually love that if they had some Lithuanian or Italian volunteers come in and start volunteering. You can start as a greeter first and then work your way to a docent and then start doing events like I did. One of the ideas was mine. It was the early Mexican settlers of Rockford that I did last May. It was a huge success.
Huge turnout.
The families were very honored, and I always, in my speeches, I always get emotional, start crying. And the veterans, where Tuffy did come with Ted Quinones, was one and we sang happy birthday to him, and they both loved it. And the events have been going well. I know and people tell me, Monica, like I think it was Vicky De La Rosa said, Monica, we need this. We need this. And I thank you.
We do need this.
And I go, thank you. And they go, do you want to help out a little bit? So Vicky is helping me with her. We're going to have the Marcel Juarez baseball event coming up. We don't know date to be determined, but it'll be an exhibit, and it's the history of the Marcel Juarez League, which her father, Aurelio De La Rosa, was a coach for years with that. So that's another one. We wanted to make an event outside. And she knows a lot of people would probably also come to that, but she's stepping up, like even just writing the story of her dad's history,
collecting photos and paper newspaper articles.
Yes. So if anybody else has family that they would like like you said, like they're first settlers here. They're one of the first to open a certain type of business or anything like that. You definitely are looking for them stories so that we can share in the community. Correct?
Stories or even photos. They'll be safe there if people, because sometimes like people throw away stuff or people have stuff that's just sitting. Like we'll take it and we'll keep it in the basement, which is
vault.
In the vault.
In the vault.
But it's safe.
It is fireproof.
It's safe down there. There's no water. It's like temperature controlled. So if people who are planning and might throw stuff away or whatever, we'll take it and we'll keep it safe and we can reuse it for the galleries.
It's a part of history.
Yes, it is. It's
definitely
like you mentioned, 20 years ago, everyone had a Guadalajara shirt because you never knew what was going to happen. Now they're all gone. Like we would love to have one. We'd keep it there forever.
If somebody has an original Guadalajara shirt, can you please message me?
Yeah,
I really want. For one, I want to I remember somewhat in my mind what they look like, but I need an original. Or even if I'm going to start going through photos of my grandma and my mom's stuff to see if I can find photos, because I would like to remake those shirts for my family.
For sure,
I would. And maybe one day. We can have something for my family to honor my family and my abuelita Minnie,
which we have talked about.
We have talked about it, so maybe that's something that's in the works.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I would be excited because you wouldn't believe how much stuff we still have from Guadalajara, and it actually would be an amazing idea because I know that they were renting that space that was once Guadalajara, turned into Los Palmas, and now it is Vibes. If we could get a hold of whoever owns that, I would love to have a baila there.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Like one last baila.
One last
dance. Yeah. That would be amazing.
But you also, like I was telling Monica earlier, like when you do these events, you just never know who's going to come. So let's say you did do that. Maybe some millionaire might be in town and says, hey, I want to invest. You know, and that's like when you put yourself out there like that, you just don't know who's going to come and reciprocate that energy. Someone might come that day and say, hey, I really like what's going on. I'd like to sponsor something. I'd like to sponsor the next event, or how can I help? Or how, you just never know. So that's also another reason why it's really important to do these things and to be 100% clear on how stuff is getting spent. It's not paying my car payment. You know what I mean? Like everything is going straight to the museum, straight to the event, straight to the ofrenda, straight to the next Hispanic, Mexican settlers, straight to the event that we'll probably do with you. Like it's all being recycled in a way that's going to give to the community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the Ethnic Heritage Museum is nonprofit. I think some people I've heard from thought everyone who works
staff.
there I'm getting a salary. No, it's all volunteer.
No, I do this all on my own time.
Yeah.
It might be, the goal would be to maybe in the future have one, as a board, vote on having maybe one person have a paid person, but so it's open all day.
Yes,
or like maybe more times a week instead of just one day. That's the future goal. It would involve bigger grants and things of that nature. But it's also not out of the question to have someone there on a regular basis, so more people could come in. But right now, since it's strictly volunteer, it's only agreed on to be open on Sundays.
Yes. Yeah, and that the thing is that is an opportunity, and that can happen.
Absolutely.
So continuing to have events like you're going to have this summer and in the fall doing the ofrenda, doing the South Main Mercado, this is going to give us a catapult to be able to do that. So I'm super excited to be a part of this event. I can't wait to see the turnout. Let's pray Mother Nature is on our side that day.
That's the one thing we're talking about today. But hopefully, everything goes well.
The month that you have it in
June
is a favorable month, though. So, because, be honest, we're in the Midwest. We only got like 4, maybe 5 good months. And then after that, we have to find all indoor spaces.
Yes.
So, so like when we have events like this, we do need the community to come out, support these new local vendors. Come and buy a shirt from me. Come and buy, whatever, like the blouses that are being
just
sold, the dulces, the food.
And on top of that,
enjoy the music.
It's free. Yeah. It's free to come in.
Yes.
We're working on a parking map, because it will be limited parking on the grounds. But you could park in the neighborhood. There's parking, close. But it's 100% free to come in if you want to just come enjoy the music, bring a lawn chair, like just come hang out. If you want to do a little shopping or just come have lunch, the whole campus will be open and it's free. And we just really want people to come out and hang out and utilize this space that's been so neglected. Even recently, I put a picture and someone was like, "Oh, that's been there the whole time." Yeah.
You're like, yeah, it's been there. It's never moved. It's been in the same
Sometimes
spot.
people pass by it all the time and they don't realize until you're actually stepping on the grass, looking on the other side, you see, wow, it is big and it is nice with the gazebo and also the brick pathway that was put in earlier this year.
Yes.
It's very aesthetically, it's just very nice. A lot of trees, a lot of shade.
Yes.
You know, there's just a place for
So even
everyone
if
to come
it's
hang out.
hot, it'll be actually nice because it's nicely
We
shaded.
have a lot of trees.
Yeah, where the
in
music
pathway.
at, where the music is at, and like that kind of general sitting area, it's very shaded, very nice.
Yeah, and when I went into the park area, I didn't realize. As many years as I had been at Guadalajara and past that area, I always passed both of the corners. You know what I mean? But I've never physically walked in the middle of the park, and I was like blown away at how beautiful it is.
It is. It is.
It is.
Yep. And it's open. Someone can, if they just need to have some time to the south, walk along the pathway, and we have a few benches out there.
So
they
it's
can just
open for the public.
Yeah.
People
To
can
come
actually
walk, take prom pictures, homecoming
Yes,
pictures.
take prom pictures.
You know what? People are always looking for sites, and everybody goes to the same spot,
Yeah.
and they don't realize how beautiful that area and space is.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And there's also a garden committee. They come
Yeah.
and plant flowers and cut the
Yeah.
grass and maintain everything. So it's very well kept throughout the warm years or throughout the warm months.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also wanted to welcome any photographers, up and coming photographers and videographers to come and join this event. So that, you know, like, I know when you're getting started, like you said, you know, sometimes you have to pay it forward. Come in, take pictures of the event so that we can continue to have proof of what happened this year so that we can carry it on and it become a bigger event every single
Yes.
year. So I invite all of photographers, videographers to join this event. Yes, you can come and take photos and join us for the day. So
Please, by all means, open
Yes.
to everybody. And like I said, bring lawn chairs, bring your families, you know, bring kids. We just want to have a good old-fashioned good time in
and
the
then,
neighborhood.
I know right now we're looking for face painters for the kids too.
Yes,
we're
yes,
on a
yes.
mission right now to
Yeah,
find face
there
painters.
is one, but we also could use another one because I think there's going to be a lot of children.
There are
coming
going to
and-
be a
yeah.
lot of children.
Yep, or someone who does balloons, you know, the balloon animals. and
Oh
things like
yes,
that.
the
Yeah.
little.
Mhm. Yes.
I remember the balloons. Yeah, if we could get somebody who does that and face painting,
Yeah.
that would be like that would take me back to my childhood to see
Yes.
all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what else I was thinking too? We need an elote man.
There is one across the street.
Yeah.
There's
He's-
one, so
he
we don't
said
want to
he's-
take from him. So
yeah.
he'll be open
And
though,
yeah,
right?
yeah, he'll be
Yeah.
there. He's
He'll be
always
at
there.
the
He's
little
gonna-
chiquita.
The
little
chiquita
chiquita.
with
Yeah.
the big mural. He'll
Yeah.
be right there.
Oh,
Yep, he's
the
supposed to
mural
show
of
up.
your daughter. Yes. So if you want an elote, and he does frutas too.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So we'll have an elote man. A paletero would be good too for that day. It's going to be summer hot.
You know, paleteros have been so scarce lately.
I haven't seen them in a few years. Like since COVID, it seems like
after COVID and then with like the threat of being robbed at gunpoint,
yeah, on that side of town.
just in
Yeah.
general, I think, because, you know, they carry cash now. I mean, they've always carried cash. So I remember, you know, 20 years ago, every hour you'd hear.
Every hour
Yeah.
you'd hear the paletero, or I remember there was an ice cream truck that used to drive around the neighborhood too once in a while. But the paleteros were like staples in our area, and we used to chase them down the street so we could get a paleta all the time.
It's becoming scarce because of the threats. So, you know,
Aw.
it's sad to see because, you know, that's how they make their money. They walk for miles. But I know a lot of them are just afraid of being out. And it's unfortunate. Me, you know, I stand with the street vendors. If I see anyone messing with one, I'll pull over and I'll jump in if I have to because, you know, they're the backbone of our community.
Yes.
They definitely are. They
Yep.
definitely are. Did you have some more dates or anything to
Yes,
go over?
there's some upcoming dates where she just got the funds for the music at the museum, which is all summer long. The dates haven't been set, but there's going to be 6 dates with 6 different bands and mostly 6 different ethnic bands. She wants to. Another thing we can bring up is she'd like to have a mariachi band. So if there's any mariachis out there that would like, just call the Ethnic Heritage Museum or
Message on
Ethnic Heritage. Yep, a message on Facebook. They do have a Facebook page. EthnicHeritage.org is their website. EthnicHeritageMuseum.org is the website. They also can write into that or call the museum.
Okay.
So that's coming up. And then Sunday, June 11th from 2 to 4, they have the Polish Man and Woman of the Year celebration honoring Beata and Andrzej Michalowski. Saturday, June 17th, 12 to 5 is the South Main Mercado that we just talked about. And we are honoring Ermina and Jose Bittleman. Yep, at 12:30. So come out and join them. That should be a lot of fun. And then Saturday, June 24th from 1 to 3, the Italian Gallery is holding their second genealogy workshop with Steve Salvato and Jean from the Rockford Public Library. And this is for people that are just wanting to start out their genealogy. This is the perfect place to go. And it's they're going to have 10 computers, and you bring your laptop or tablet if you want to, but I think they're going to have 8 or 10 computers available, so they'll be there to help someone looking up their genealogy.
So genealogy, wait a minute. So they're going to do like kind of an ancestry thing?
Yeah, they're going to help somebody doing the research on the genealogy.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm actually interested in that.
Yes. Yep. And I was just going to tell you that it's $5 for members of the museum and $10 for non-members.
So how do people become a member? Just contact
the museum, or when you come in on a Sunday, you fill out a form and then you become a member. And I think it's $30 or $35 for a year, which is nothing really. You know, it's worth it because then you get discounts on all the events and things like that.
Yes.
Yep. And then July 8th, Saturday, the Ganestra House Home is having an English tea out on the lawn, and they're going to have 4 teas, scones, and jams. So that sounds really interesting. I think I might go to that. If I'm working and I'm right. And that's another thing. When you volunteer, you get to come to a lot of these events. We do have paranormal events, just like the Tinker Cottage has
in October.
In October, yeah.
Those are huge.
Yes.
So people actually like to go in and kind of investigate.
Yes, we have a professional.
Is there a lot of activity there?
Yes, we do. We mostly in the Polish
There's like a little
gallery.
boy that lives there, or is a girl?
A little boy, supposedly. And then the other home, too, they have a lot of activity. And there's been 3 or 4 different paranormal professional groups come in, and
they
found...
bring all the machines and all that.
So ghost hunters?
Yes, ghost hunters.
If you are interested, you're into that.
And in those events, you can bring your own equipment. Yeah. Or some people use their phones now. The same thing with Tinker Cottage. I wanted to give them a shout out to Samantha.
Connected.
Yes.
Yeah,
they have paranormal events, and they have murder mystery evenings, and they are open every day at 1:00 and then at 3:00, and they have tours, and docents will give you a tour of the Tinker Cottage. Now, the Tinker Cottage is 98% of the artifacts are to the home of
their original artifacts.
Yep, 1857 is the year we're talking about, and it's beautiful in there, and everything was handmade by.
I've only been in
Robert
there
Tinker.
once. I need to go again and take my children though.
Yep, it goes to the second floor, the main floor, and then you also get to tour the basement, and it's amazing. It's totally worth it. And I think their prices are $7 and $10. I think.
Okay.
If I remember right, but yeah, Samantha Hockman is the director, and they also have a camp for children this summer.
Summer camp.
They do.
Yes. Yep, and it's very reasonable because my daughter's looking around right now, and they're the most reasonable so far. And they teach them about history. Well, that's great, and then they do activities and games and things like that. Yeah. So that is also open. So you just go, Tinker Cottage is also on Facebook, and they have these little minute videos also each week. So I just wanted to give
another
a shout.
just staple in the neighborhood that sometimes people pass
about.
You go down Morgan to Booker and you just forget.
You forget that it's there.
And it's historic, and they have a lot going on during the year.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, anything that is considered historic in the city has to be over 100 years old, correct?
I'm not sure. Jocelyn might know that. I'm not sure if it has to be.
Probably right. Yeah.
I think I heard that somewhere because there was a building. I want to say, was it the Coronado that I heard? They were just about to hit their 100-year mark.
Right.
That's where I heard that from. And so it has to be 100 years
to
plus.
apply for certain grants, like a historic landmark grant or something like that. Yeah.
Yep. And they're we're also gonna have a volunteer historic house volunteer day Saturday, August 19th, where you will travel to 3 different museums, and I think that is free. And then they will have volunteers sign up. So what you see and what you're interested in, then you can sign up that day also or after. And then Saturday, July 8th, we have the Graham Ganestra tea. Okay, I announced that one. Wednesday, July 19th, 5:30 to 8:30, we have a Heritage Whiskey Wednesday fundraiser for the Ethnic Heritage Museum at Barnstormer Distillery down on Illinois, South Main, Illinois 2, out there by the airport. That was really successful last year, so we're going to do it again. And they have they're going to have food, and they're going to have
whiskey.
Yes,
I heard whiskey.
Tours, food, and music, and a lot of they're going to have auctions out there or great raffles. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but it's a lot of fun and really worth it.
Actually, the Graham Ganestra, that house in the basement, I believe he had his own distillery, right? He made his own whiskey.
Yes.
Wow.
So in the basement, there's actually barrels of like 100-year-old whiskey.
That are still there.
I seen it with my own eyes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And they're going to have gift cards and baskets and things like that. They said also early Mexican settlers of Rockford Part 2 is on September 10th from 2 to 4. We're going to have that. And also Marcel Juarez is to be determined, the event for that one. September 23rd, 10 a.m. to 3, we're going to have local authors fair, which went very well last year. And we had Kimberla Roby, who's a New York Times bestseller author, showed up, and it was amazing. It was an amazing day. We had authors and this just from this area. And I did not know there were so many authors from Rockford.
A ton of authors. It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah. So if you're an author, sign up. It's September 23rd. So go to Ethnic Heritage Museum, and they'll probably have info out later on that. So
And one thing about when you had the early settlers event, one thing I did not know, and I've lived in the neighborhood my whole life, I still do. Underneath Winnebago Bridge, there's like these walls. We used to go down there and spray paint all the time because
I remember the ones down there. Yeah.
Because they were so far removed from the streets, and we'd go down there and spray paint, just hang out. What I didn't know is that people actually lived under there. As they were building the train tracks, people lived inside the boxcars.
Yeah.
yes.
And I had no idea that until because of this, and I saw photos, and I was like, oh, like because you were saying boxcar families, and I thought you were talking about racing, to be honest.
Oh, like on Little Rascals, how they had the boxcar races.
Yeah, that's
okay,
what I thought.
That's what I would have thought.
But she, like literally the
boxcar train,
the trains.
They live inside of,
because it was just cheaper. They would sleep there, eat there, and then get right to work on the train. So they would live there and keep moving as they were going closer to Chicago between Dubuque, I believe, to Chicago.
The first Mexican settlers, there was a couple of families I found just in my research that lived there for a whole year down under the Winnebago Viaduct.
Yep.
Yes.
Literally right.
And because there's that little creek right there too.
And
that was right behind Guadalajara. That was right? It was right.
Under the Winnebago.
The Winnebago one, not there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, and they had no water, no heat.
Yeah, they had their own communities there.
Goodness.
Yep, they had their own communities.
The real first early Mexicans that were in Rockford were living underneath Winnebago Bridge.
And the boxcars, yes.
Yep, and building the train tracks going towards Chicago.
Until they could save their money to get rent a house.
Yep.
Yep. And I just wanted one more thing. I know we're running out of time. Is the largest event that we're having this year is at Embassy Suites. It is Thursday, October 5th, 5 to 9. It's our gala fundraiser, and the theme is Celebrate Our Heritage Through Movement. We will need sponsors, donations for items for silent auction. We'll have a social hour. We'll have a sit-down dinner. We'll have entertainment. And it's totally worth the price. And I hope some people come out and support the museum because we really need the funds to keep operating.
I will definitely be there. I mean, you already talked. If there's any way I can support and help with my services, we've already kind of discussed it. So we're definitely going to do some type of cultural models for this in actually original attire.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because these are like pieces that are actually a part of the museum.
Yes.
That are going to be worn and shown off.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, any of these events that you are interested in, we'll make sure that we have these dates and times for you so that you can go back and you can look up the website for the Ethnic Heritage Museum.org.
Yes.
And I just want to thank you both for being on Unscripted today. We covered so much information.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to the event, the South Main Mercado. And if you guys have anything else before I say goodnight.
We just hope a lot of people come out and support the museums because they need to stay there because they're so historical. There's so many stories. So come on out and you'll get a tour and hear about more history because Rockford has a lot of history and a lot of famous people started this town also. So there's in the South Main and off South Main and South Rockford, a lot of history.
I think people forget that Rockford is like a central hub. Like we're connected to Indiana, Wisconsin, right? The Chicagoland area. Like we're central.
Right in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah. So just our cultural backgrounds are of grave importance to our future. So if there's any way you can help or become a part of the Ethnic Heritage Museum, please contact either the website or Monica. And we would love to just see you do a little bit more and tell some stories about your culture. So Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Yep. See
Thank
ya.
you.
See you guys on
Bye-bye.
June 17th.
Yep, June 17th.